Hi, my name's Justin Beeton, the author of the book Making Super Sexy. Now, if you haven't done so already, download a copy of the book. The book covers the education, the step-by-step guide to take control of what should become your biggest asset, superannuation. In today's session, I want to cover exactly that, how you too can take control of the investment decisions inside of superannuation. Now, the main way you can take advantage of the investment decisions inside of superannuation is by establishing what's called a self-managed super fund, SMSF, or many people refer them to as do-it-yourself super funds. If you set up a self-managed super fund, you control the investment decisions inside of superannuation, and it opens up a much wider investment universe than what you would otherwise have inside of a traditional retail or industry super fund. So I want to cover some of the key benefits firstly. The key benefits of setting up a self-managed super fund is obviously taking control of what should become your biggest asset, taking control of those investment decisions. Secondly, it increases your universe available of investments. You can invest in direct residential property. You can go out and buy shares directly. You control the investment decision. The only restriction of money inside of superannuation is that it needs to meet the sole purpose test. So you need to ensure that whatever investment choice you're investing in, it's for the sole purpose of providing income in retirement. You can even invest in art. Fortunately, you can't put it on the wall. You can also invest in wine, but you can't drink it, obviously, because it needs to be for the sole purpose of providing an income in retirement. So there's some of the key reasons why people choose a self-managed super fund. Also, with the introduction of new laws in 2010, means with a self-managed super fund, you can borrow money to invest inside of super. So they can have the capacity to accelerate returns, because simply you've just got more and more money in super for investment purposes. So, but while borrowing can accelerate returns, it can also magnify risk. So it's very critical you consider the risks associated with borrowing. But with the self-managed super fund, at least gives you the option of utilising borrowings inside a super than otherwise just a traditional super fund. Now, what I do also want to cover in today's session is demystify some of the myths or the negatives associated with, or the obligations associated with managing your own super. One of the main negatives that's existed in the past, or the myth, is that the fees are often higher in a self-managed super fund than what they would otherwise be in a traditional super fund or an industry super fund. Now, for many Australians, that's just not the case. In the past, superannuations to set up a self-managed super fund, it has cost up to $5,000. Today, though, with the introduction of streamlined processes, streamlined back offices, and also competition, you can in fact set up a self-managed super fund for free. We've got a relationship with Sequoia Superannuation that will actually set up your super fund for nothing. Generally costs like $1,495, but by just being associated with Making Super Sexy, they'll do it for nothing, for free. So it doesn't cost you anything. So that's the first myth. The second myth is the ongoing costs. It costs money because you need to lodge a tax return. You need to gain an audit for that tax return each and every year. Thirdly, you need to lodge things with the ATO. So there's all fees associated with that. In the past, they've been around $5,000 at a traditional accountant to do all of that work. Now though, again, because of that innovation, because of the back office efficiencies, it can be a lot less. Now the classic super fund, Sequoia Superannuation actually has two different self-managed super fund offerings. The first one is a classic super fund. Now that's designed and tailored for people that have more than $150,000 in their superannuation fund. If you have more than $150,000 in your super fund, then the flat fee is around $2,580. So $2,580 will cover all of the accounting, all of the ATO lodgement, and all of the audit, all of the compliance responsibilities of managing your own super fund. That's a flat fee. Now, if you've got $1 million in your super fund, because that fee is flat, it means it's a lot cheaper than having your money even in an industry super fund or a traditional retail super fund. So it depends when you look at that first myth about the cost being high, how big your super fund in fact actually is. Now the final part that I want to cover off, which is the second product that Sequoia Superannuation has. Now I believe a mini SMSF, a mini self-managed super fund, is going to revolutionise the superannuation industry. As many Australians believe managing their own super fund is out of reach, simply because they don't have that $150,000 to justify the flat $2,500 fee. Well, with Sequoia Superannuation, the mini SMSF, they charge a percentage fee. The percentage fee is 1.75% per annum plus $10 per month per member. What that means is that even if you have between $50,000 and $150,000, you can take control of your super money, set up a self-managed super fund for free, and the ongoing costs are very similar to what you're being charged now in that traditional retail super fund. So by the introduction of a mini self-managed super fund, the fees are in fact for the majority of Australians exactly the same or in fact less than what you're paying already. Those key changes means that superannuation or a self-managed super fund is certainly got the capacity to be the main vehicle of choice to managing people's superannuation money. In fact, it already is. Over 33% of Australians already have their superannuation money invested in a self-managed super fund. One of the main reasons why I believe that is the case is that they're now sick of the bad performance of their superannuation fund in the past through those retail or industry super funds. And they realise that with a little bit of education, they too can make better investment decisions than what the other people that have been paid to manage their money have in the past. So if you too want to take control of your money, then by all means download a copy of my book and start educating yourself in the processes and the investment choices available to take control of what should become your biggest asset, superannuation. So I'm Justin Beeton, the author of Making Super Sexy. Cheers.